It's been 313 years since the founding of Yale College. Find out how students and faculty are celebrating and remembering that history.
Also, we sat down with Kevin Ryan, the founder of Guild and Business Insider, to discuss entrepreneurship.
Stay tuned for these stories and more because it's your Yale, your week, and your news.
Hello and welcome to YTV. I'm Michael Leopold. To start, we'll go to Stefina Yulee in the newsroom with this week's headlines.
Thanks, Michael. The Master of Silliman College announced in an email this week that she will step down from her position at Silliman College at the end of this academic year. Judith Cross is the longest-serving master at Yale, having assumed the position in 2000. Although the announcement did not come to a surprise to most students interviewed, Silliman faculty and students both applauded her tenure and expressed excitement for the new direction of the college. Cross told the News she will enter into full retirement following this academic year. She has served as a professor for 44 years and is also a former dean of the School of Nursing. On Monday, numerous students visited Woodbridge Hall to hand-deliver letters to President Salovey, urging the administration to again consider divesting from fossil fuels. Fossil Free Yale arranged the demonstration and asked students passing Woodbridge Hall to sign and deliver the uniform letters. The Director of Administrative Affairs in Woodbridge Hall said that 181 letters had been delivered as of Monday afternoon. This demonstration follows a series of attempts by students to reverse the Yale Corporation's decision to not divest. Pinkberry on Chapel Street issued a statement saying the frozen yogurt store is only temporarily closed, but employees believe otherwise. Several Pinkberry employees claim the store has withheld payment from many employees, even after being closed for several weeks. Some workers say they have not received up to $800 in payment. Pinkberry franchise owner Jamie Carson stated that he was intending to relaunch in self-serve, but employees say mismanagement and lack of business make this option unlikely. Blue Point Wellness in Branford, Connecticut recently became the 6th medical marijuana dispensary in the state. Owner Nick Tamburino says he chose this location due to its proximity to both Yale New Haven Hospital and Smillow Cancer Hospital, places he hopes to build partnerships with in the future. In order to qualify for medical cannabis, Connecticut residents must be over the age of 18 and have one of 11 approved conditions. Medical marijuana is currently legal in 23 states. That's it for this week's headlines. Back to you in the studio.
Next week, Yale College will commemorate the day it was founded, and we'll be holding Founders Day celebrations for the very first time. Reporters Anamika Virmani and Sophia John tell us more.
On October 9th, 1701, Yale was founded by an assembly of Harvard ministers dissatisfied with the growing liberalism at Harvard, and instead wanted to create a more traditional institution.
When the ministers traditionally gathered in a house in Branford, and put their prize books together on a table, saying, "With these books I found a college in this colony."
313 years later, Yale College is looking back on its roots. The creation of a campus-wide celebration to honor Yale's founding. This year's Founders Day is being organized by the Office of the Secretary and will be held next Tuesday, October 14th.
Everything has to have a beginning, and we have to make a choice of what that beginning is, and I think choosing that October in the fall of 1701 when this act was passed is most appropriate.
Although this is the first time the university is officially hosting a Founders Day, throughout the years there have been various events where Yale students, faculty, and staff gather to appreciate the university's history and traditions.
I think we've been celebrating versions of Founders Day over the years, and most recently the inauguration was an opportunity to celebrate not only the inauguration of Peter Salovey, but also the founding of the institution and what it stands for.
In addition to the open houses and student group performances, this year's Founders Day will culminate in a big party on cross campus. The festivities include remarks from University President Peter Salovey, photo booths, and a festive fall menu from Yale Dining, featuring hot apple cider and cake.
There's a whole set of open houses, including a Sacred Spaces tour, an opportunity to go up to the Carillon, which is really fun, and people don't get to do that on an everyday basis.
Every school is involved, every faculty, student, and staff is invited.
It's been over 300 years since Yale first opened its doors, but its traditions have stood the test of time. For YTV, this has been Sophia John and Anamika Viramani.
Yale is also holding a Founders Day Inspiring Yale competition, and lunch with President Salave is the grand prize.
And speaking of being inspired, in September 2014, students from all 8 Ivy League schools band together to make a change. This change came in the form of the Black Ivy Coalition, a group founded with the mission to compel society to revalue Black lives and end the violation of human and civil rights of Black people. We go to Annalise Morello for more. After a recent string of injustices ending in the loss of Black life, Ivy Leaguers have decided that enough is enough.
Ivy Coalition started actually as a small Facebook message and form a reactionary force to the recent losses of Black life that had been in the news.
We have representatives from all of the 8 Ivies. We're working together in order to try to figure out what we can do to address the issue of the dehumanization of Black people in this country.
Recently, the Black Ivy Coalition was featured in an article in the Huffington Post and has already taken some notable action on Yale's campus, stirring up a large wave of support for the group.
We did a Hands Up Don't Shoot photo.
That in addition to a small photo campaign with the hashtag If They Gun Me Down.
Currently, the Black Ivy Coalition is attempting to work with politicians to change legislation in a way that would help put an end to police brutality.
One of the major things on the agenda is to do a national day where we're going to have schools across the country be able to march onto their capitals with the bill proposal that we have made.
Black Ivy Coalition is doing everything it can to increase awareness of its goal for racial equality.
And I think as Yaleys, especially Black Yaleys, I don't know that we're leaving behind a specific legacy outside of our individual achievements. So I really hope the Black Ivy Coalition can make some real change on campus, but more so that everybody does something that can change communities.
And hopefully in the future be able to increase awareness about this issue, especially on college campuses, because we know that youth involvement is one of the biggest things that drives movements. It's not just a Black problem, it's an American problem that we have to fight.
The future looks extremely bright for this group of students who have united under the belief, as they put it, Black Lives Matter. For YTV, this has been Annalise Morello. Back to you. For more information or to get involved, visit the Black Ivy Coalition's Facebook page.
Yale football has had an exciting start to their season with 3 consecutive wins. One of the main reasons for the team's success is a transfer student who is Yale's current quarterback. This week, YTV went to the fields to find out how he's transitioned from transfer to leader. We go to Kate Walker and Dan Schauer for more.
Yale football players live and breathe by the team's creed, a set of statements that hang in the team room and that players recite in a group huddle after practice. The first line of this doctrine reads, "I vow to believe in the process."
It's definitely a process over time. So, you just have more kids that are invested in what's happening with Yale football.
At the head of the Bulldogs' powerhouse offensive unit is junior quarterback Morgan Roberts.
For Roberts, part of adhering to the process was learning his role on the team. His transfer to Yale in his sophomore year made this an especially difficult task, given the amount of adjustment he had to make off the field as well as on it.
I mean, it's tough. You're transferring as the new guy. I mean, people don't really know much about you, and that's really when I needed the most support from guys on the team, and they were really there for me.
Roberts' decision to transfer from Clemson University, a Division I ACC school, was unconventional, but the new quarterback maintains that it was the right decision for him.
There were some, academic goals that I wanted to achieve that I couldn't achieve at Clemson, and I was looking for more of a family environment. I missed the high school team-oriented, you play for your brother, the love of the game.
In his first year, Roberts struggled to find his place on the team, even switching positions from quarterback to wide receiver to fill in a hole on the team. But with a year behind him, he seems to have found his role, and his newfound comfort is visible on the field.
When you put those pieces together of just feeling familiar in your environment and feeling comfortable with your school and your classes and your colleges, then be able to understand the playbook, it makes things a lot easier to play on the field on Saturday.
I think last year we were, especially me in general, I didn't know exactly what my role was on the team. I was, probably trying to play a little bit outside of myself. I'm a point guard, and I'm just trying to distribute to these playmakers. But I don't need to play outside of myself. And if I play inside the system, we're going to do very well.
At Yale's most recent game against Cornell, Roberts threw for a stunning 300 yards and set a school record by completing 26 of 30 attempts.
But what really he's improved on is his ability to, stay calm, on the field, making sure that he's leading the other 10 guys.
Football is important to him. He's always asking questions. He's really bought into what we're doing offensively, and obviously the results, he sees the results.
It's not just Yale that is noticing the change. Roberts has already been named Ivy League Offensive Player of the Week twice in the past 3 weeks. His teammates would agree. It's a different Morgan Roberts on the field this year. For YTV, this has been Kate Walker and Dan Chow.
Head coach Tony Reno sent an email to the student body on Tuesday morning, asking for students' continued support at the team's Final Four home games. So come out in your blue and white for the big game against Dartmouth tomorrow at 1.
As always, we end with our Everybody Has a Story segment. This week, Cody Pomerantz sat down with Kevin Ryan, the godfather of New York tech. He's the founder of Business Insider, Guild, and many other startups. This week, we find out his views on the tech industry and what makes a company truly great.
Kevin, thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be here.
So you're probably most famous for Guild Group. How exactly did that idea come about for this, flash online sales?
Well, I grew up in Europe, and I had seen this sector grow in Europe. So there were a number of companies, the biggest being Vente Privée, that had been doing a somewhat flash sales type model. And so I couldn't figure out why that would be so successful in Europe, but not work in the United States. I didn't have a fashion background, but I thought in 2007 that I could build a team and go out, and that the model actually did make a lot of sense. And turned out it did, and it worked from day one.
Well, how much of these startups that you do, how much of it is about the actual idea versus the organization of it, the ability to manage people once you've got an idea in place?
So I really don't think the idea is actually that important. There are very few ideas that are incredibly new and different. Google was yet another search engine. It was really just all execution. It was a little bit better than the other ones. Guild was a good idea, except that there were 3 other companies that started about the same time with more or less the same idea. So Guild became the biggest in its sector by, again, executing, having great people, moving quickly, raising money. So anyone who comes up with a good idea today and you launch your website 4 months from now, I'm going to look at that idea and think, that's a pretty good idea. Maybe I'll just go do the same thing. I'm only spotting you a 4-month head start. This is a 10-year battle. So it's going to be who executes best.
Kevin Ryan, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
To watch the full interview, go to the YTV website under the features page.
And that's it for us tonight. We'll see you next week. For now, take a moment to watch our weekend segment and learn what makes each of the college butteries unique.
Thanks for watching. It's your Yale, your week, and your news.
Always a hub for food and fun, butteries are a crucial part of life at residential colleges. Although, not all butteries are created equal. I'm Harrison Tracy, and here's your definitive 90-second guide to butteries. J.E.'s Buttery is known for its manwich, a grilled cheese stuffed with buffalo chicken tenders. So manly. Sabrick tries to top J.E.'s manliness with its manliest witch. Chicken, cheese, bacon, and egg all in one sandwich. Calhoun's Buttery, the trolley stop, offers a buttery bucks deal where you can pay $4 for $5 worth of food. TD's Buttery likes to spice things up. Their Cajun waffle fries are always a popular menu choice. While Trumbull has paid buttery managers, it does not pay its buttery employees. Branford's Buttery sheds light on the age-old question of the chicken and the egg with its circle of life. A sandwich with chicken, a runny egg, and cheese. The Davenport Dive is home to a student-run pop-up restaurant, House of York, that's open every Friday night. Stiles' Buttery hosts trivia night study breaks. A staple at the Morsel, Morris's Buttery, is the Jim Stanley, a quesadilla with chicken nuggets inside. Berkeley's Buttery, the bagel bar, opens the earliest and closes the earliest out of all butteries, operating from 9 to midnight. The Slammer at Pearson's Buttery is sure to give you a full stomach and high cholesterol. It's a burger with egg, cheese, and bacon all piled on top. And finally, the Silla Cafe, Silliman's Buttery, offers 50-cent manager specials for each night it's open. Despite all these differences, there's one thing you can definitely count on from all butteries. It's that they're a great place to get a cheap late-night snack and enjoy some friendly company.